Welcome to Draw My Life. A warning, I'm no artist, but I'll try. I was born on the 21st of June 2002. My name is Tioluwani, which means God's own, but most people call me Tioluwa. I was an early child, so my childhood was quite boring. I went to Ladybird Nursery, then Stockwell Primary School, and then in Year 5 I moved to Stanton. I now go to Evelyn Grace Academy, where now I'm in Year 10, meaning I now have to know how to keep and deal up with stress. To do this, I do a lot of activities. Nah, I'm just kidding, I don't do sports at all. But I do. Just saying. I do debating, STEM, drama club, and inter-university, and blah blah blah. Now I've been given the opportunity to present the BBC School Report. So let's get right into it. If you thought slavery was a thing of the past, think again. It's as rife as ever, but incredibly hidden. In 1562, the first English slaving expedition was led by Sir John Hawkins. This led way to 276 years of slavery, which finally ended in 1833, when the Abolition of Slavery Act was passed in all British territories. Fast forward hundreds of years to today, where modern slavery is one of the biggest problems, but is ignored by many countries, even in the developed world. Today, there are 30 million people working against their will, trapped in situations that they cannot leave. This is seen in many countries like India and Nigeria, where some are transported across the globe while others don't even have the freedom to leave their hometown. All young boys dream of playing football for a Premier League, like Manchester United. So imagine then, when this innocent ambition is terribly manipulated for ill gain. Well, this was a reality for a naive boy who was promised a membership in the European Premier League. But once he arrived in Italy, he ended up in his worst nightmare and was forced into sex trafficking. It was more than 2 years until he could escape his bondage, and even now, the horror of his experience still haunts him. But make no mistake, this does not only happen outside the UK. The government has also estimated that 13,000 people in the UK are living in similar conditions, but what has been observed is that the population in the UK does not believe that slavery no longer exists. This ignorant attitude towards the definition of slavery is an extremely powerful key reason as to why this exploitation has been happening for so long, and no one has done anything about it. A trafficker could be anyone, but it's usually a familiar face. This includes a friend, your boyfriend or girlfriend, or even family. They look for your weakness and use it to their advantage, as you are a target and are easy to prey on. The traffickers would then sell people and buy people like goods in hope of getting a good price, and incredibly, this action generates an estimated 32 billion a year on the black market, making it the second most profitable crime in the world behind drugs. This is more than the amount of money that all governments in the world use to combat modern day slavery. This in turn allows this crime to grow in magnitude, but only a little has been done to combat it. This includes the £8.5 million that our Home Secretary has invested into the police, and the £33.5 million that the UK has invested into the UN, which would all be used to combat this crime. But money alone cannot get rid of what we are seeing. Awareness needs to be raised so that all the referrals which are sent to the police are actually seen as victims rather than attention-seeking people or non-priorities. We need to focus on those who have been exploited, and also come up with ideas that can prevent future victims. Prevention is always better than a cure, but please remember, there is nothing like a typical victim. It's not always ladies, it's not always adults, it's not always for prostitution, but neither is it always for smuggling. And it's not always people from other countries. You could be the next victim. So keep safe and don't keep anything suspicious secret, as you can make the change in someone else's life.